Good everyone, welcome to this video. Today we have a review on the Bv-138 C-1. When this plane was first seen on the dev server, one of my subs immediately asked for a review, and I was like, well, once it's out, I'll work on it as soon as possible. But of course, that's when I got my new PC, so sorry for the delay, but at least you're getting your review. So the Bv-138 comes in at rank 1, battle rating 1.7, and is one of the few, well in fact I think it's the only German tech tree, which means not premium or anything like that, fight planes which we actually get. And, well, Gaijin, I actually have to clap my hands. Obviously I'm not going to clap because you'll hear it over me, because my voice filter, RTX voice, has been playing up a bit, so if you hear any like fan noise I do apologise. But unfortunately it's just a bug at the minute, and there's not a lot I can do about it. So the Bv-138 is a 3-engine seaplane, and for those that know me, they know I love my seaplanes. And, well, this is a very good plane. The problem is it's a little boring. What do I mean by that? Well, for a start, it should have been 1.7, and 2, the gameplay is extremely predictable, if that makes sense. Of course, I know it says 1.7 up there, and it says Air Arcade Battles. That is a bug. I don't know why it's saying that, but whatever. In fact, no, I do know why, because AB, if you only have one plane in your lineup, it points it down by 0.3, but still. The plane was played in at RB, if anyone worries about that. Don't worry. The plane itself, and I'm going to actually go over to the RB stats just to give you a bit more of a clear idea. The plane itself has a very low top speed, a very low dive rate, but has a pretty good defensive armament. Your armament is two 20mm MG151 cannon, one in the nose and one in this small bore mount here. And you also have access to a 13mm MG131 machine gun. Your engines are 3 Junkers Jumo 205Ds, which are water-cooled inline engines producing up to 889 horsepower. These engines are pretty good, however, losing 2 means you ain't getting back to base. You'll be able to lose at least 1, maybe if you lose it on... Well, if you lose this engine, you can fly back on this too, but if you lose one on one side, it's going to be making it quite unbalanced from what I've been able to get out of testing this aircraft. In terms of belts for your weapons, I'd recommend universal on the 20mm belts and armoured targets on the 13mm turret belts. In terms of bomb load, you only have one. 6 50kg bombs, these drop as separate, and as a result, they're not particularly amazing, but they get the job done, and, well, they can kill a base if you're at your own BR, so that's at least something. And even if you're in an up tier and can't kill a base, you can still do some damage to a base, and then you can go ham with your 20mm autocannon. Now, of course, this does mean one particular thing. Why is this plane 1.7 in the first place? I'd love to know who decided to BR for this thing. This thing could easily sit at 2.0, maybe even 2.3, and not be broken, as far as I'm concerned. Trust me, trying to review this thing, it took a good 10 minutes to get into each match. That gives you an idea. But it's a very good plane regardless, and I highly suggest people giving it a go. Now then, in the description below, there's going to be a timestamp where you can skip to the gameplay. Of course, I mean, if you're one of those who looks at getting, well, like, descriptions anyway and just skips to the gameplay without having to watch this part, that's fine, you can do that if you want, but you might just miss some tricks and actual good advice about the aircraft as I go through the table. But speaking of the table, how about we go take a look? I'll see you all in a moment. And welcome to the table. Not a very long table, as you can tell. It only took 2 matches to spade the plane, and that's why I said it was a little bit boring and predictable, because I knew it was going to be broken the moment it came out. And yeah, it kind of is. So, battle number 1 was 2 air kills, 0 ground kills, 0 assists. I put down no because technically I did die, but because my pilot was still alive after the crash landing, it doesn't count as a death, so that's why I put no. But if you want to be one of those who takes it literally, it was a death. 2,314 SL, 2,504 RP, and 0.136 tons of base bombing. And battle number 2, which is the match you're going to be seeing, is 2 air kills, 9 ground kills, 1 assist, no death, 12,246 SL, 3,215 RP, and no base bombs done. A little bit of a trick for this plane. I've noticed the rear 20mm turret is a little bit unusual. It doesn't seem to want to fire over the 6 o'clock of the aircraft, but if you can get the enemy at about your low 6 o'clock, so just underneath the vertical stabilizers, you can shoot at them, and they tend to have a pretty bad day, as you're going to see in this match when we meet I think it's a J11, I can't quite remember. But it's all about learning the defensive arc of this aircraft, and once you do, it really does kick some butt. But anyway, let's go take a look at the gameplay, and let's see how the plane did. See you in a moment. And welcome to the gameplay. This is obviously match number 2, and unlike my PBV video review, I actually saved the correct replay this time. Go Joe, you didn't make a mistake for once. But to be fair, it wasn't hard, there was only 2 matches to actually look at. So to save you the boredom, I am going to jump us ahead, because trust me, this plane is very slow. It doesn't show it up here. I believe it's a bug with the replays at the minute. I'm not sure why, but it's just how the replays have been lately. Also, you may notice this flashing river here. This is a bug. This was patched. It's just this replay is quite old. So, yeah, just I know it might trigger some of you, but try to ignore it. I know it's hard, but that bug has been patched. It's just the replay is old, so it's not officially patched. So I'm dropping my bombs in. Obviously, I'm just investigating it, like, in the match. I wasn't sure what it was. And, well, it's a bug. It's been patched now, but as I said, the replay hasn't been updated or anything like that, so there's that. So jumping us ahead again, I've spotted this J20, and I decided to go after it. Now the maximum dive is about 450 kilometers an hour, if you want it in kilometers an hour. It's about 250 miles per hour, for those that use miles per hour. As a result, you're going to be pretty annoyed when you can't dive on something like this big juicy H6K, because you have to be very careful of how you do it. And as a result, let's just say you're not going to be getting easy shots. And as you can tell, I'm having to roll the plane to get the 20mm on target. But of course, at the minute, I can only get the 13 on target. I do manage to set him on fire, however, he will put that fire out, and he will get back to his airfield. And yes, it was a J11. See, Joe's memory's not that bad. For those that are new to the channel, my memory's actually quite shit, so yeah. So here comes the J11. The nose turret had a brief shot there, but unfortunately it just couldn't swing around. And, well, here comes the J11. He's running stealth for some reason. And there you can see the hits just bouncing off of the J11 from the 13mm. The 13 is quite awful. I will say that. It's not great. However, once you start getting them in the correct defensive armament arc, like where the 20mm lies, which is where he's about to fly into, it makes a big difference, and you'll see that in just a second. He flies right into the 20mm arc, and, well, he's taking hits. It's just the server's that freaking shit when I flew this battle. He's not taking any damage. Or at least I thought so. That's going to be kill number 1. Now, of course, it was down to me to decide what to do next, and, well, my squad mates in this match, well, one of them's already dead, that's Reagan, and Sphinx, who you have obviously seen in the PBV match, he's also with me helping me spade the plane. And as a result, it was quite an easy spade thanks to these guys, just because, well, they helped out. I mean, in the first match they couldn't really help out, but in this match they certainly helped out. And now all that's left is a camping Ki-21, the H6K from earlier, and also a Hampton Mark 1. The Hampton I'm going for right now, in case anyone is curious about that. And there goes the H6K. Of course, since it takes quite a while to catch up, I'll just skip ahead to when I shred the Hampton. And there we go. Kill number 2, that's the end of my air kills for this match, and the end of the air kills for the Spade of the vehicle. And it just goes to show, like, yeah, this thing was really hyped, but at the same time, why should it be stuck at 1.7? Is my question. What's the Hampton going to do against this thing? Not a lot. Now, of course, the plane itself is rather fragile, but it can still take a beating in certain areas, like the main floats. The wings can be pretty tough, the engines are not, but that's a story for another day. And, well, yeah. I think this plane needs to go up in BR if I was to be brutally honest. But that's just coming from me. And let's be real, do guys you listen to people's suggestions? Not really. So I'm going to keep it on 8 times speed because we're coming up to my final contribution of the match. I don't know why there was a jet sound there and why there's a jet sound continuing to be played. But still. This is where I attempt to dive bomb with the aircraft. And to make a proper pig's ear of it, to say the least. Unfortunately, with the bombs being mounted on one side, I'm not used to it. And, well, I have to kind of rely on the gunners here. The 20mm can pop the tanks, but it takes quite a lot of ammo. And the bombs can do it as well, but again, they're mounted on one side and it makes it quite awkward. But even so. So bringing the plane back around, I'm going to be dropping the bombs again, but obviously I'm trying to accommodate for the bombs themselves, but again, made a proper pig's ear of it. And, well, I have to use the gunners here. And there we go. And that's what you can do with a successful gun run. But of course, the Ki-21 is going to spend the rest of this match camping his airfield because camper scum be camper scum. And as a result, we're going to have to attempt to farm the tickets for the win. The other Bv-138 successfully got back to base, so he's going to come and give me a hand. And that's going to make my job a lot easier. And right now, I'm eyeing up my last ground target for the match, which is that armoured car there. As I said, this is a very easy plane to spade. It's just, as I said, it's a little bit boring and predictable. Because I knew this thing was going to be pretty damn good. And turned out to be. Let's just say that. But of course, that's the end of my contribution for the battle. There's no point keeping you around for 2 minutes unless you just want to see a bunch of failed gun runs, but still. Overall, I think this is a very good plane. If you're a big fan of seaplanes, I definitely recommend giving this thing a go. However, don't expect it to stay at 1.7. I wouldn't be surprised by the time this video comes out, this thing's at 2.0 at least. Let's just say that. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the Bv-138 C-1, and I will catch you all on the next one.